Breaking news! The Denver Broncos have been linked to two intriguing names on the NFL free agent market, and today I'm going to show you why these additions could make or break Sean Payton's team in the 2025 season. Before we start, make sure you've already hit the like button if you believe the Denver Broncos will go much further next season. If possible, comment like this: "Go Broncos! I still believe in the Super Bowl." Now, let's look at the names that are being bandied about behind the scenes. First, we have Chris Godwin, the prolific wide receiver for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and then safety Javon Holland, a name not as commonly mentioned in domestic football conversations, but a potential game changer in the secondary. Let's dive deeper into these two players and how they could fit into the Broncos' plans. To be honest, many fans were not keen on the idea of bringing in Godwin. Maybe Garrett Wilson or George Pickens would be better. What do you think? But anyway, let's talk about the ones that are on the table. Starting with Chris Godwin, this wideout is heading into free agency after suffering a tough break in 2024, an ankle injury that ended his season in the middle of what could have been his best season to date. Fantasy football players may remember him shining on the stat sheets before this unfortunate injury. Godwin was on pace for a 1,400-yard season and 12 touchdowns, showing that he still has plenty of gas left in the tank. Even with this setback, the 28-year-old, who turns 29 in February, remains one of the most reliable and dynamic receivers in the league. His production speaks for itself. Year after year, he has proven to be a constant force on the field, with several 1,000-yard seasons under his belt. Pro Football Focus linked Godwin to the Broncos in their recent free agency analysis, and the fit makes a lot of sense. Denver is projected to have over $56 million in cap space this offseason. That's a healthy budget, leaving plenty of room to make a splash in free agency. The 2025 NFL Draft is shaping up to be weak at the receiver position, with fewer top-tier talents than we've seen in previous years. Given the state of the wideout market, Denver may find itself in a position where paying a premium for an established player like Godwin is the most viable option. So, why Godwin? Well, there's a growing belief that the Broncos need to surround quarterback Bo Nix, still on his rookie contract, with more firepower. With established players like Courtland Sutton and Marvin Mims already on the roster, adding Godwin to the mix could create one of the most dynamic receiving core in the AFC. A potential offense featuring Godwin, Sutton, Mims, and a solid backfield headlined by the likes of Ashton Jeanty or Caleb Johnson sounds like a recipe for fireworks in Mile High. It's not just about making the playoffs anymore. This move would help the Broncos close the gap with the Kansas City Chiefs and other AFC powerhouses. However, there are reasons for caution. Godwin is coming off an ankle injury, and at nearly 30 years old, some might argue that his prime years are behind him. That said, his projected contract, potentially in the range of $63 million over 3 years with $40 million guaranteed, feels reasonable given his pedigree. With the right structure, the Broncos could protect themselves against long-term risk while still capitalizing on Godwin's prime production window. On the defensive side, Javon Holland presents a different but equally intriguing opportunity. The former Miami Dolphins safety is just 25 years old and has been a starter since day one in the league. Holland's career trajectory has been mostly positive, though 2024 was a down year for him. He failed to record an interception, struggled in coverage, and lacked the big play impact he had shown earlier in his career. For the Broncos, this dip in form could present a buy low opportunity for a player who still has significant upside. Holland's youth and experience make him a compelling target, especially considering Denver's current safety situation. The Broncos secondary, led by Brandon Jones, lacked depth in 2024, and while there's some promise in younger players like J.L. Skinner and Deion Turner-Yell, none have established themselves as surefire starters. Holland, paired with Jones, could rejuvenate a safety group that struggled to create turnovers last season. Looking at the bigger picture, the Broncos have decisions to make on how they want to allocate their resources. The team's conservative approach in free agency last year suggests they might prioritize internal development, relying on draft picks like Riley Moss and Marvin Mims to continue their growth. But with so much cap space available and glaring needs at key positions, this offseason presents an opportunity to take calculated risks. Should the Broncos target Chris Godwin to supercharge their offense or gamble on Javon Holland to solidify their secondary? Or is there a world where they land both? These are the types of decisions that will shape Denver's trajectory in a pivotal 2025 season. Let us know in the comments. Who do you think the Broncos should pursue? Godwin, Holland, or both? And are you comfortable with the risks that come with these players, or would you rather see the team focus on the draft? Your input is what makes the Broncos community strong. Drop your thoughts below. Now let's dive a bit deeper into the implications of these potential signings, as well as the larger strategy the Denver Broncos might employ this offseason. First, let's address the elephant in the room. The Broncos' approach to free agency under George Payton and Sean Payton has been a mix of measured aggression and careful evaluation. While they opted to rely heavily on homegrown talent in the 2024 season, particularly trusting their younger players to step into larger roles, there's no denying that this approach left some gaps, particularly in consistency and explosiveness. For example, the receiving core, while showing flashes of potential, lacked that true game-breaking threat who could dominate defenses week in and week out. Yes, Courtland Sutton has proven to be a reliable veteran presence, and Marvin Mims showed growth, but neither has reached that elite WR1 level yet. This is where Chris Godwin enters the conversation. Not only would he bring immediate credibility to the offense, but his presence could also elevate the play of the rest of the receiving group. Defenses would be forced to account for Godwin's route-running precision and ability to win in contested situations, opening up opportunities for Sutton, Mims, and even tight ends like Colston Loveland to make an impact. The key question here is whether the Broncos are willing to commit significant cap space to a player like Godwin, particularly in a market where receiver talent is scarce. This scarcity will likely drive up prices, but Denver is in a unique position with their cap flexibility and a quarterback still on a cost-controlled rookie deal. Historically, teams with quarterbacks on rookie contracts have had great success when they go all in to surround their young signal callers with talent. Look at how teams like the Bengals built around Joe Burrow or the Chargers around Justin Herbert during their early years. This could be Denver's chance to replicate that formula with Bo Nix. On the defensive side, Javon Holland represents a different kind of investment. While Godwin would be a splashy, headline-grabbing move, Holland is more of a value-driven addition that could address a critical need without breaking the bank. His down year in 2024 should be viewed in the context of his overall body of work. Over his first 3 seasons, Holland displayed versatility, instincts, and playmaking ability that made him one of the rising stars at the safety position. Every player has down years, and it's worth noting that Holland played on a Miami defense that faced its own set of challenges in 2024. A change of scenery, coupled with a fresh start under Denver's defensive staff, could reignite his career. One potential obstacle here is how Denver prioritizes its spending. With Brandon Jones already in the fold, the Broncos could decide to focus their resources elsewhere, particularly if they believe they can address the safety position through the draft. The 2025 draft class is reportedly strong at safety, offering the possibility of landing a talented player in the middle rounds who could grow into a starting role. However, the risk there is that rookies, especially mid-round picks, don't always pan out, and the Broncos have seen firsthand how important a solid secondary is in a division where they have to face Patrick Mahomes and Justin Herbert twice a year. Another layer to this conversation is how the team plans to balance immediate needs with long-term goals. Adding Chris Godwin signals a clear win-now mentality, which could energize the fan base but also put pressure on the team to deliver results quickly. Signing Javon Holland, on the other hand, feels like a move that aligns more with a gradual build, a bet on potential, and a belief in the coaching staff's ability to develop talent. So, Broncos fans, now it's your turn to weigh in. Are you all in on signing Chris Godwin to boost the offense? Do you see Javon Holland as the missing piece in the secondary? Or would you prefer the team to stay patient and build through the draft? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Your passion and insights are what make Broncos country so special, and we want to hear from you.